channel. I'm sitting here with Dominic. Say hi, baby boy. So he's gonna be playing while we talk about his birth story. So he was due on January 18th. The Thursday before his due date, I went and saw my OB. And she's like, okay, you're measuring good. You're probably going to give birth next week. And he's doing good. His heart rate is strong. And she was like, but I don't want to wait till next Thursday to see you. It was a week. So I want to see you before then. So I was like, okay. So we scheduled the appointment for Tuesday the 16th. And we scheduled it for 7:30 in the morning because it was going to be a ultrasound, and I wanted my husband to be there before he went to work. At this point, I was already off of work. I wanted to take a week before the baby was born just to get everything situated and get ready for him to arrive. Get the house cleaned. I had a lot of aspirations, none of which happened, but it's okay. So the 16th, we get up at 6:30 to get ready to be there by 7:30, and we get to the doctor's office. We have our ultrasound. Now, our ultrasound tech was super nice, and she was just going through and measuring everything and talking to us, and then all of a sudden she starts getting quieter. And the ultrasound is going a little bit longer than what we planned on it to go. And so she finishes up and she's like, okay, I want you to wait in the waiting room. The nurse will be right with you. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm not meeting with my doctor till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon because they had to do separately. So they had to do the ultrasound in the morning and then an afternoon doctor's appointment. So it's like, I don't know why I have to sit in the waiting room, but okay, we'll sit in the waiting room. So we're sitting in the waiting room and the nurse comes out and she's like, okay, we need you to go to OB triage. I just talked to your doctor and she wants you to go and get admitted. I was like, what? What do you mean we have to go get admitted? I was like, what's going on? And she was like, it's okay. The doctor said that she will talk to you when she gets to the hospital. She's already on her way, and she'll meet you down in OB triage. I was like, okay. She's like, you will most likely have the baby today. I was like, oh, okay. So we didn't have our hospital bags in the car. We didn't have the car seat in the car, which was bad part on our part because we probably should have had all of that in the car ready to go because the baby could have come at any minute. But we did have everything in the front hallway ready to grab and go. So my husband had to call his job and say, hey, I'm not coming in today, so I need you to cancel all of my appointments and reschedule them for when I'm back after paternity leave. So I'm making all of my phone calls. I call my mom, call my in-laws, call my sister, call my dad. My dad was in Orlando. He decided to go to Universal that day. I was like, Dad, you probably shouldn't go, but it's okay. He made it and came right back. So, but we go into OB triage. They check us in. I still have no idea what's going on. I'm like, okay, do you guys know what's going on? Because I walk into OB and they're like, okay, what are you here for? I'm like, honestly, I have no idea. The doctor's office just sent us over here and I don't know why we're here. She was like, okay, actually, we just got off the phone with them, so we're gonna take you up. So Daddy, you have to go and get a pass for the hospital and we will get you up into a delivery room. I was like, oh, okay. So I guess Dominic's gonna be born today. We get up to the delivery room and my doctor comes in. She's like, oh, I was trying to beat you to the OB triage. I must have just missed you. I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay, so what's going on is Dominic is ready to come out. You are actually in labor, even though it doesn't seem like you even know that yet. But what we're going to do is we're going to check how far along you are. We're going to set you up on the monitors. His amniotic fluid is a little low, but it's okay because we're going to take him today, so he should be fine. And he's not moving very much, so, but again, that is okay. We're going to take him today. It's like, oh, okay. So I get strapped up. I'm on the bed hooked up to the monitor, and all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, so my mom gets there, my mother-in-law gets there, my sister gets there, and they keep looking at the monitor, and then they ask me, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. What's going on? They're like, oh, okay. 5 minutes later, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, you guys just asked me that. I'm fine. 5 minutes later, are you okay? Yes, okay, what's going on? Why do you guys keep asking me? They're like, well, you're having really, really bad contractions right now, and you seem to not even be feeling it. I'm like, no, I'm not feeling it at all. So the doctor comes in, checks me, I'm 4 centimeters. She's like, okay, in an hour, if you don't progress, we'll start you on Pitocin. So you're gonna have the baby hopefully before the end of the day. I was like, okay. About 15 minutes, not even. In the meantime, my husband ran back to our house to go get all of our bags and the car seat, change out of his work clothes, and get back and let the dogs out, because we hadn't even let the dogs out before we went to our appointment, because I was gonna come right back home and I would let them out then. So about 15 minutes later, the nurse basically runs back into my room and she's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. What's going on? She's like, okay, we're prepping you for a C-section. My heart dropped. I'm like, what is wrong? Can someone please tell me? My doctor walks in. She's like, okay, we're prepping you for a C-section. Dominic's heart rate is dropping every single time you have a contraction, so he is not going to be able to come naturally. It is too dangerous for him to be put underneath this much pressure. I start freaking out because my husband is not there yet. He's still at our house getting our stuff. I'm like, well, can we just wait 2 seconds, because my husband's not here yet? And I'm freaking out. I'm in tears, and they're like, yeah, we have to do the paperwork, we have to get an OR situated, so that should give him enough time to get here. Now, mind you, we're only 7 minutes from the hospital in traffic. So I call up my husband. I'm like, listen, you have to get here now. And he's like, okay, I'm just putting everything in the car. I'm like, no, you don't understand. You have to get here now. You got to leave now. They are taking me in for a C-section. You have to be here. I need you. He's like, okay, I'll be right there. His mom says she's gonna go down and meet him at the car so he doesn't have to try and find a parking spot. He was in that room in 4 minutes. I have no idea how many traffic laws he broke to get there in 4 minutes. But as he was coming in, they were starting to wheel me out. So my sister grabs all of his stuff that he had brought up with him, and they roll me in for a C-section. When we start getting ready, and I start getting paranoid because the anesthesiologist comes in. He's like, okay, so if you had any type of fluids or any type of food, I'm gonna have to put you under. I did not want that. I really did not want that. I was freaking out. I was like, I really don't want to be completely put under for my first baby's birth. I was like, is there any way we can just try for me to have the epidural without putting me under? He was like, I don't know, we'll talk to your doctor. And at this point, I'm so blessed and so happy that it was my regular doctor, because she knows me, she knows my body, and she advocated for me to stay awake. They're like, okay, so since this is going to be a trial, because I only had a breakfast essential smoothie, so with milk and the breakfast essential chocolate powder. They're like, since it was, sorry, he just fell over. They're like, since you didn't have that much to eat, we'll keep you awake. But your husband can't come back till we know that the epidural is going to work and you're not going to get really sick. I was like, okay, that's fine. So they get me in to the OR, and he does not want anything right now. Hey, you see? Look, say hi. Say hi, everyone. Yeah. So they get me into the OR, and they give me the epidural. I start getting really, really nauseous, and they just give me the nausea medication. So it was perfectly fine. I was able to stay awake. Oh, it was such an amazing experience. Like, I can't even describe the feelings that were going on in my head. One, worry, because I was getting cut open. I was on top of a hospital table. Okay. You want to be in this shot too? Yeah. So I was on top of a hospital table, getting cut open, and so it was a little nerve-wracking. But my husband gets in there, and he just starts talking to me and calms me down. His voice just calms me down. So just having him there really helped. And sorry about Dominic's cheek. He got bit by a bug last night. But so they're like, okay, get your camera out. And here he comes. And he comes up and starts crying. And it was the best sound in the entire world. Yes, it was. It was truly incredible. So he comes out, and they cut the umbilical cord, and because I was awake, I got to hold him. So right after they cleaned him up and got a diaper on him, they put him on my chest, and we were able to do skin to skin right away. And sorry, it's hard leaning down like that. But we did skin to skin right away for about a half hour, maybe even 45 minutes. I don't know. It was in such bliss. They put him on my chest, and the nurses were so super nice. They took pictures of our little family, and my husband was there. Got to touch him. And he was just in awe. So right after we did some skin to skin, then they took him into another room while they sewed me up and got me all situated to be with him. And they had my husband go with. Yeah. They had my husband go with while they did his hepatitis shot, his eye ointment, and something else I don't remember right now off the top of my head. Yeah, you want to be in your shot? Okay. And then after they did all of that, my husband actually got to do skin to skin, which was something that I really wanted. I had done a lot of research on it, and they say that it helps the baby calm down from the traumatic experience and helps them feel protected. So mommy calms them and helps them feel nurtured and loved, and daddy calms them and helps them feel protected. So that was very important to me, and I was so happy that he was able to do that. And while he was doing skin to skin, my mother-in-law, my mom, and my sister and father-in-law were actually able to go in. Oh, and Frank's grandmother was actually able to go in and see Dominic for the very first time. I'm really sad that I didn't get to see their reactions, but I was really happy that they didn't have to wait a whole other like hour and a half before seeing him. They got to see him, and while I was getting rolled back into the recovery room, they got to see me and see that I was okay. So that really helped my mom out because she was freaking out. When I went back into recovery, that's when we did breastfeeding for the first time. So that was a pretty crazy experience, but it worked out. He latched perfectly with no problems the first time, and it was just amazing holding this little boy, because the first time I was in that room, he was inside of me, and then the second time I was in that room, he was in my arms. And the emotion, oh my gosh, no one could have prepared me for it. And I know that my mom tried to explain it to me, but you don't know the type of love that you feel for something that just comes out of your stomach. And he was there, and he latched for the first time like a pro, and we got to do some more skin to skin afterwards. And then it felt like 20 minutes to me, but apparently it was about an hour and a half. They moved us into our room that we were going to be in for the rest of the day. And so yeah, we went into our appointment at 7:30 in the morning, got to the hospital by 9, got checked in and into our room by 9:30, and he was born at 10:57. So it was such a whirlwind. I can't believe it. He was 2 days early, perfectly healthy baby boy. And looking back, there's so many things that could have went wrong, but leaving it all in God's hands, it all worked out. My recovery was nice and quick, and I'll do another video on my postpartum recovery after a c-section, because I have some thoughts on that will be a whole separate video. But I just wanted to talk to you about my my birth experience. It was not what I expected. I didn't do any research on a c-section, but I did have a funny feeling that I was gonna end up having one, just because no other woman in my family has given birth naturally. So, but after that, I really wouldn't have had it any other way. It was a quick, easy recovery. It took a while, it took a couple weeks, but it wasn't bad, and I wasn't in that much pain, and he came out perfect. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Love you.